The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com, 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? POSTGAME POD coming to you after, I don't even know what the final score of that game was. I have it on a box score somewhere.
Was it one?
I don't even know. The Celtics were up by 37 at one point over the Charlotte Hornets despite a slow start. And in the second to last game of the regular season, Celtics roll. Starters got some minutes to stretch their legs, gave the baton away in the third quarter. The bench was awesome throughout the night. We've had the postgame plus. We just did Celtics post up. All I remember is Luke Kornet's political ads that we will get to later in the program. But let's start with the game real quick. We're not going to waste a lot of time on this one. But biggest takeaway from the Celtics Hornets game tonight?
Biggest takeaway, these guys are ready to go for the playoffs. That's my biggest takeaway. Because what they did in Orlando, they were without their top six. And there was a different rotation. You know, some of the rotational guys obviously got the start there. But tonight, 69 bench points.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Yes, it was more of a normal feel when you have almost all of your starters except for Jaylen Brown available. But they're ready. They're ready to go, and they're ready to finish this last game on Sunday against the Hornets and say, hey, let's feel healthy, let's feel rested. And they're having fun. We'll get into it, but Derrick White and Jayson Tatum deciding to have a Freaky Friday moment and twin or reverse personalities. That's the kind of fun and energy and mentality that you want to have in the playoffs.
It's one thing to do it when you're just trying to have fun. It's another to be good enough where you do that sort of thing and you still go out and dominate the game. But for those of you who missed it, you can go check it out on our socials. But Tatum and White decided they were going to take Kayla's advice, because Kayla had told Derrick White they need to have another headband game.
He said we would.
That was the plan. And then somewhere along the line, someone suggested, I'm assuming it was Luke Kornet.
Game plan switched.
Because Luke Kornet always has great ideas.
Yep.
He probably said, why don't you guys essentially dress up like one another and take on each other's personalities? And you mentioned it on Post Up, and it's hilarious, but so we kind of noticed something was amiss because you're looking at them going, man, something doesn't seem right. Tatum always has one leg sleeve and an armband. He has two leg sleeves tonight, and Derrick comes out one leg sleeve, which just looks jarring, and the armband. And, both admitted they were largely uncomfortable because they don't normally dress like that.
And in the pregame, where Tatum does his thing with his jersey.
Puffs it out.
Yep. Derrick White is right there with him going like this. It was... They're just having fun. They're just making jokes.
So good. The only thing that would have been better is if Derrick went over to Deuce and hugged him or something like that. Just to total. And Deuce would have been like, "Wait, that doesn't normally happen."
May have rejected that because Deuce does not play games either.
But Derrick did hit a three, and I believe he blew a kiss, and so that was hilarious. I kept waiting for Tatum to check his pockets for threes. But yeah, they really lived it up, and. They might have done it even more if it wasn't such a slow start to the first quarter. But then those guys kicked into overdrive and motored away. You mentioned it. The bench was awesome. I thought from Luke to Torrey Craig, didn't really dent the box score that much, but was all over the place with activity, hustle. Had one sequence where they got a transition dunk or a layup, and he spilled into the baseline. And ironically, sticking with the kid theme, Torrey Craig's son ran over and kind of wanted to hug Dad. And Dad was late getting back into the play, and so Joe Mazzulla joked afterward that he almost cost him a three-pointer.
So good.
And, look, again, it's fun. It's a good environment. The Celtics promote having your children around. We've seen Ian Horford and Deuce was getting buckets before the game. I love that everyone just understands it's more than just basketball, and especially this time of year, you've got to find ways to make this fun. And when you win 130-94, that's fun too.
We see fans wearing dog faces and
ears,
dog ears
so
for Luke
good.
Kornet. The whole buy-in from everyone is a blast. And that's the kind of energy from the fan base all the way to the kids, to the team itself, to the coaches that you want to go into the playoffs. Because when you're stiff, Chris, and it's so hard, hey, we got to do this. We got to make sure that we got to go back to back. you're not loose.
Yeah.
And Derrick White mentioned it early on in the season. He was like, I didn't feel like I was playing with joy. And now you're starting to see him play with joy. And yeah, the pressure.
Now
the
he has maybe a little bit too much joy.
Yeah, I think that's the last of the little Freaky Friday thing we're gonna see. But to go into the postseason,
even if it's just one game, it's a nice little. They needed something tonight.
They need that. And then for Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard, I really wanted them to have a game where they felt confident. And you know, the game in Orlando, But this one here tonight where they both have 20-plus points is like, that's the kind of self-confidence and seeing the ball go through the net that you want to bring into the postseason.
And that's what my whole thing is. The entire last two games should be spent, how are we getting everybody in a good mental space to go into the playoffs? And so starters weren't great at the start of this one, whatever, but they figured it out. They turned it up. Bench was great. They'll get another opportunity on Sunday when we suspect that not any of the starters will probably be out there. And everyone will get a week to sort of rest up. We'll get into Jaylen Brown in a second. But Celtics get their 60th win tonight, which it seems a moment too. The entire East playoff bracket is now locked in, 1 through 8. Pretty much how you expected it to go. Knicks stay at the 3rd seed, which is interesting because they're going to match up with the Pistons in round 1. That should be a spicy little matchup. Yeah. As a Celtic fan, you'll have eyes on that because if Celtics take care of whoever is the play-in winner, that's the second round matchup. And I know we've just sort of run with the assumption it's going to be the Knicks because the Knicks have had a fairly good season. But
no, though.
I
don't know.
I don't think Detroit's going to win that, but I do think they can push them and soften them up a little bit.
The Knicks have they've struggled against top teams, and I'm not putting Detroit in that category. But look, when Detroit can play, they brought it against
second
the
half of the season. I bet if you looked at the numbers, like Detroit would be just as good as most Eastern Conference teams not named Celtics or Cavaliers.
Let's just put it this way. I would not be surprised if Detroit does. It would be jarring, but I would not. I'm taking that word from you, too. I would not be surprised if they beat the Knicks.
I think they'll, if nothing else, they will push them. I think Cade will learn what it takes to win on that stage.
Yeah,
I think there'll be some moments where things will get pretty spicy, like beef stew, maybe fighting somebody, maybe trying to tackle Cat at some point, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a lot of fun for Celtics fans to kind of keep an eye on that series. Before they even do that, they have to start thinking about who their next playoff opponent will be. And so the seeds are the Magic had already locked up their 7th spot, and now the Hawks secured the 8th spot by beating the 76ers tonight. And so Tuesday night, early game, will be Orlando hosting the Hawks. How are you feeling about that?
I was going to throw it to you. All right, I'll let you know how I feel.
Okay. Any preference on what happens in that one?
I'm more concerned. This sounds crazy because on maybe the stat sheet, maybe not, but I'm afraid of the Celtics playing. Not afraid. That's crazy. I'm more.
I love how you walk that back on me.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, afraid is nuts. I'm not afraid of any team, to be honest. I think the Celtics have. I think that
now you're channeling your.
I got Eddie. I got that. Yeah, we got to 60 wins. I ain't afraid of any. Yeah, but I would prefer. I think the Celtics to play Orlando, and I just think that the Celtics. I don't know what it is about Atlanta. But the Celtics have struggled in the regular season, going into overtime. Like Trae Young doing this. It's just I feel like the C's struggle against this squad.
Could be some distractions in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Magic City. Magic Kingdom.
Can I admit something?
Do you want to explain? Do you want to tell that story? Okay, this is great. This is good podcast fodder. So I'll set it up.
Lead it up.
So live TV promotes some amazing moments, and I always forget, Kayla, that this is your first season. You're still you're super knowledgeable about the game. You're super knowledgeable about the league, but there are sometimes some references that maybe don't. Yeah, just kind of and again, I just sometimes I take this for granted, and so Drew and Scal were talking about the potential matchup.
Which, by the way, you never know where Scal is going to go with anything. So it's not always easy being on the receiving end of it.
Fair.
Continue.
But they were talking about, well, one way or another, it's either going to be Magic Kingdom or Magic City.
Well, we were watching the scoreboard tonight, and I know you guys were talking about it on the show, who the Celtics could match up with in the first round. Indy punting on the game tonight. Maybe are they trying to avoid the Celtics potentially in the second round? I'm not sure. But ultimately, I think Eddie's right. It doesn't really matter who the Celtics are matched up with. This is still the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to Magic City or Magic Kingdom, one way or whatever it's going to be. It's just going to be magical.
The type of thing you don't have the cojones to say on the game broadcast, but you'll say on the post game.
Yes, I will.
Magic City, Magic Kingdom. That's the plan, Kayla. That's what it is.
Either way, you guys are living your best life. Yeah, I believe you'd rather Magic Kingdom, right? You like that Florida. I know, Scal.
Sometimes.
And, because back in the day, Lou Williams, Magic City, lemon pepper wings, there was a lot going on there. And I didn't notice in the moment that you maybe didn't catch the reference. Like, why would you know Magic City? But
Right, which I think actually it should speak wonders of myself. No offense compared to you fellas who know Magic City. I had my boyfriend text me, wow, that was a hilarious, crazy comment. I was like, I'm not really understanding why this is so funny.
I think you said, because you said something like, either way, you boys are living your best life. And you meant it so harmlessly in that they went to Disney.
I'm thinking they're hanging out with Mickey Mouse. Like, I'm thinking being around the kids. Like, genuinely, this is what's going through my mind. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys are living your best lives. Little do I know that it's a freaking strip club. I'm commenting on, oh, you guys are living your best lives. So Scal's wife, I'm so sorry. I don't support that. Unlike Luke Kornet with his political campaign, I do not approve of that message.
It was hilarious. Again, you might have just meant like, hey, get some lemon pepper wings, go back to the room, watch White Lotus, whatever you're going to do.
Which is actually what they would do.
Right,
so, like,
exactly.
Love them, their jokes.
Yeah. And they, look, you said it, and they didn't miss a beat. They chuckled.
After, right. And we went to break, and then I get a text from my man. He's like, what if I said that? Would you have? And I was like, what do you mean? And I go to Chris. Yeah. I go, Chris, what's magic is...
No, the best part, okay, so even further in the weeds here, you looked at me and you said, wait, do you know what Magic Kingdom is? And I was like, yeah, the Disney place. And you're like, no, it's a strip club. And I was like, no, that's Magic City. And so, but...
I can't keep up. Magic this, magic that. All I know is that, look, there's a reason why I don't know. And Mom and Dad, if you're listening to this, you should be proud that I don't know. Okay?
Definitely proud.
But, yeah, apparently I'm the only one who does not know where the magic is in Atlanta.
In an attempt to preserve my salvation here, one of my first road trips when I was with...
Oh, boy, where's this going?
The boss. Well, no, like literally, you're going to see where it's going. One of my first road trips when I was with the Boston Globe there was like a last minute decision to send me to would have been the 2008 ALDS, I think it was. So it's Red Sox versus the Tampa Bay Rays. And so the Red Sox had just closed out a series at Fenway. Literally the next morning I got on a plane and all the riders were telling me about going to, I think it's called Maz Venus or something like that. I'm probably butchering it. Or maybe I'm just messing up the name so that no one knows that like how stupid I felt. And I was like, oh, that's like I just thought it, and in my naivety, I thought it was like a restaurant. So I was like, oh, cool, yeah. No, I think I'm just gonna hit Sonic. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you get 2 milkshakes for the price of one after 7:00. And they're like, yeah,
you said milkshakes.
Yeah, they were going for milkshakes of a different sort. And but in the aftermath, in the aftermath, I was told that this was a popular joint for the Red Sox players, and that it came highly recommended.
Yeah, those milkshakes, Grace.
I have another great Sonic milkshake story, but
where is this Celtics Talk?
Look, you brought it here. You were the one who went off the rails.
Yo, I am deceased right now. I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell this really quick because it's one of my favorite stories. One year, damn it, I touched the mic. People on YouTube comments are very on me because I touched the mic. I forget that it's very sensitive. And
okay.
Like, yeah.
Well,
so if you're on the audio version, you're hearing popping right now. That was on me. So my first spring training, this would have been February of 2009, back down to Florida, Fort Myers, and for 2 weeks on my own. And my wife was pregnant, and I was down there for Valentine's Day, and I had nothing else to do, so I went to Sonic, and same deal. It was like a buy one, get one BOGO milkshake deal.
There you go.
And so I spent Valentine's Day, like, crushing milkshakes. That's the story. But like, she's like, "What did you do today?" And I was like, "I drank 2 milkshakes." And then I went back.
And she's never been prouder.
No, I think she was horrified that like because you have a lot of downtime at spring training. You do
but
morning
you know what? If
workouts.
that's what you do, that's a positive
Right.
sign. I'm telling you right now.
I do this to bring this story full circle, where I'm sure there was much trouble I could have got into in Florida instead.
Like if I'm a wife and hear that you are crushing milkshakes at Sonic, yeah, I'm a little like, are you okay? Like, is there a depression? Is there something going on that, you want to tell me? Like, are you not feeling well? Like, what? And you're definitely not going to feel well after this. But
I did not feel well.
No.
Let me tell you.
By the way, what milkshakes did you have?
So I believe, I think I did one like chocolate and one strawberry, like a chocolate covered strawberry and that was. I think I got a burger too. Yeah, it was a lot of food.
You had a tough morning.
Young Forsberg had no real problem, but the Celtics do not have any problems with winning. They are getting ready for this. Before we throw the rest of our pregame show, I mean, we are so off the rails right now. Where we talk a little bit about the what comes next and the 60 wins. We do have to talk about Luke Kornet's political ad. So first off, I'm hoping the podcast producers can drop this in here. Here's what if you're on the video version, you get the full extent of this. You really need to see Luke as he narrates this ad. If you're listening on the audio version, please, if you didn't see it on the broadcast,
you have to watch it.
Go check out our Instagram page, find it. But here is Luke Kornet opining on the Tommy Award.
The Tommy Award, one of our nation's highest honors. It's going to a guy like Derrick White.
You seem a little subdued. Aren't you excited?
You seem a little subdued.
Subdued? Yikes. The Tommy Award is about energy, honor, and valor. Does Derrick White have the endorsement of some of the team's most veteran members like I do?
Having Luke as a teammate is amazing.
He's one of the those key parts of our team.
Was hoping for a little more there. Well, at least nobody said anything bad about me.
Derrick's had a year. Derrick is a.
Are we sure Derrick White actually chipped his tooth and kept playing? Who knows with AI running rampant? And what does Derrick have to say for himself?
Nobody cares.
Wow, makes you think. Some are saying Luke Kornet is the People's Tommy Award winner.
I don't know where we'd be without Luke.
I'm Luke Kornet, and I approve this message.
One of the nation's greatest honors, and Luke feels like he has been slandered and held back from receiving the award he so justly deserves because Scal loves Derrick White.
You said it best. This man, it wasn't us. It wasn't Adam Hart that, decided to help or say, hey, Luke, you should do this.
Adam's fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah, Adam's creativity is at 1,000. His fingerprints are all over it. But Luke took this, right? He took it upon himself to say, hey, I need to make a political statement.
Word on the street is the idea and concept all came from Luke Kornet.
I love it. I loved everything about it. I don't even think it is the best political ad that I have seen in 2024, 2025. And I mean that among all political ads, okay? This one, I'm Luke Kornet and I approve this message. I support it.
If you're listening on the audio version, there's a part where for whatever reason I think they were looking for props at the Auerbach Center, and he threw on a vest and a hard hat, which was probably left over from the groundbreaking when they did it back in Brighton. And he's looking at a wall support. And he's just running his hand over and he nods good structure here.
The Brad Stevens was also one of my favorite.
Oh my God, with
him
bleep
twisting
Brad,
the word bleep bleep.
So it's an amazing little sequence, and we await what Derrick's response is. You'll hear when he talks to Abby Chin. He says that his lawyers have advised him not to comment. And it's amazing.
These guys are so much fun, man.
They really are fun.
They're hilarious.
Derrick, I have many questions, but first things first. Talk me through the Freaky Friday decision with you and Jayson and your accessories.
We decided to do it after shoot around. We were gonna do a headband game, and then someone suggested this, and so just have some fun with it.
How was it shooting with the armband?
A little different. I don't know if I ever wore an armband. Wasn't bad, but yeah, I needed mine to have 9 on it, but maybe next year.
It looked all right. We'll look forward to it a little later next season. The other thing I want to ask you about, Luke is campaigning for the Tommy Award, and he had some slanderous things to say about you in a political type ad. How do you feel about that?
My lawyers and attorneys say not to comment on it at the moment. It's all lies, but I can't comment any further right now.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk some basketball. 75 points in the second half. I know you guys are working on some things offensively. What did you guys see tonight?
Just kind of do what we do. Sam got hot there, and it was really fun to see, and just do what we do.
How are you feeling going into the postseason?
Feel good. It's about to get really fun, so this is what we've been working for.
Derrick, thank you. Congrats on tonight.
Yep.
All right. Normally we wait to the end. We're gonna do the look ahead right now, so that because everyone can go enjoy the rest of our postgame show after that. But Celtics close out the season, regular season, I should say, on Sunday against the same Charlotte Hornet team. Give me one thing you are interested in seeing on Sunday.
I am interested in seeing Baylor Shireman having himself yet again another fantastic night to get what I'm also seeing, the bench, and the bench including all the starters not playing and getting them hype to close out the regular season on a positive note.
I like it.
See what I did there? I kind of tied
you did.
two,
You brought it all
two
together.
things that I'm looking for in one. Boom.
I did say we should touch on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown did not play in this game, had been ruled out yesterday. That means he will not meet the 65-game threshold to be considered for All-NBA and All-Defense. I think we've all said it all along. It felt like if he was playing, it was more to figure out how to play when he's dealing with this knee injury. I would be interested, like, if what happens? Do they just rule him out immediately? Like Eddie House was just thought he was done for the regular season, which would be fine. That means he would get.
You mean for Sunday or
for Sunday? Yeah.
Okay,
So he would get somewhere in 10 to 12 days of rest, having not played.
I don't want this man playing. I mean, if we're keeping it 100, why? And the only thing that I would support him playing is genuinely if he's just trying to move his legs, have him go up and down the court, and not to feel so out of it. Having all the rest time.
And there is a balance. Like even today, I think the starters played because just the weirdness of the schedule. You play that Tuesday night in New York, but then the back-to-back in Orlando. No one wants to fly all the way down there, play. Like, I get why they rested guys that night, but it would also been if you don't play from Tuesday until Saturday of the following week. If I'm doing quick math, that's like 11 days of nothing except practice at the Auerbach Center. And so I just think there's a balance there for guys. There's like it's good to get rest. It's another to almost get rusty and then have to crank it back up in the intensity of the playoffs. So I do think I would be surprised if Jaylen played, but I also would get it if he tried.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Regardless, the fact that he will not hit the threshold suggests that it's more just making sure he's in the best possible place, whether that's the combination of rest or the short burst and learning how to play without the same burst that he's had. So very eager to see that. If he doesn't play, I'm with you. It's all about the bench. Get those guys feeling good. I want to see more Baylor Shireman. I want to see Drew Peterson. Celtics could add. I don't know if they will. I got to check what the deadline on this is, but they have an open 15th roster spot last year. They elevated Neemias Queta at the finish line and rewarded a two-way guy. They could do the same thing with someone like Drew Peterson or J.D. Davison or whoever they wanted to carry on the 15-man roster. Just something to consider. But because of the luxury tax issues with this team, it also costs a lot of money to do that. So they just got to figure out the balance there. If they don't, it doesn't mean those guys aren't part of the future. It just means that.
No, look what JD did here tonight. I mean, the
JD
slam
threw that
dunk,
crazy dunk.
Go for it, man.
That I was like, oh, that's why he's G League MVP.
Right.
Dunking on fools out there. And so I'm eager to see those guys find a way to get them to 61 wins, and then it's all playoffs all the time, Kayla.
I'm ready.
We are ready for Magic City. Here we go. Everybody
I'm not ready for Magic City ever in my life. I'm today years old when I found out about Magic City.
I need everybody to go subscribe. Do not go to the Magic City website unless you want to be on a list. Nope. We'll catch you next time. Oh, actually, we're going to throw to more from our post-game show. I always forget to do this part. Cool. And then we will catch you next time on the Celtics Talk podcast.
Are you ready to enter the realm of affordable luxury? Drew Carter here at 24 Infinity of Plymouth, your go-to destination for affordable luxury.
Right now, lease a new Infiniti QX60 Lux for just $569 a month. Or lease a new QX80 Sensory for $1099 a month.
Ready to trade and upgrade? You'll get top dollar for your trade. Visit 24 Infinity of Plymouth at 151 Samoset Street and online at 24infinityofplymouth.com.
Jayson, with respect to the win, I think your accessory swap with Derrick was kind of the headline here. Can you talk us through where that idea came from, how it felt, and he didn't get the JT threes?
Probably just since we probably won't play next game. He said at shoot around this morning, he was like, "Yo, we should do a headband game." One of the trainers may have mentioned if D White dressed like me during the game, so it was kind of like their idea, and just agreed to it and ran with it. Felt different. I ain't wear long tights like that in a long time. I feel like I'm too tall to wear ankle socks, so that was the weirdest part. I just felt like I didn't have socks on my legs.
You got your 15th tech in this one. You had mentioned that Joe has joked around with you about getting the 16th and getting suspended. Did he say anything after you got the tech? Was there any kind of interaction with him there?
No, because 2 of them been rescinded, so today was my 13th.
Oh, was it the 13th?
It was some but it was my 13th tech today.
And your preparation for the playoffs now, you're starting to hone in. You're starting to get a sense of Orlando or Atlanta. What's it like now? Just kind of turning the page.
It's cool. Another incredible season. 60-plus win team, and obviously the goal is to compete for championships. But I think enjoying the process along the way, and cherishing those small wins per se, and acknowledging that we had another incredible regular season. Something to be proud of for sure. But now just kind of shifting gears and getting our minds and our bodies right for what's to come.
With Charles here, how would you describe the impact that he had on last season's team and on you personally?
Yeah, Charles had a tremendous impact on our team. His energy, obviously his knowledge of the game, how he impacted everybody individually and as a team. We did something special last year, and whether it's Charles or the assistant coaches that left with him, Blaine and Buck, those guys will always be bonded and connected for life. So couldn't be happier for those guys and in their new positions and where their careers are going. But it was a blessing, and it was a joy to have those guys here for that year, and obviously what we accomplished. Something that we'll be able to hang on for the rest of our life.
And then you and Luke have become one of the most effective pick-and-roll tandems in the league. The numbers are right up there with Jokic and Murray. How would you describe the growth from you two working together and what makes it so effective?
Oh, man, Luke is the leap that he's taken this year, and what he's provided off the bench and the nights that he's had to start. And, our connection throughout the pick and roll and constant communication and talks and during the game, on off days and whatever. And Luke just has a great feel for the game. He's such a selfless player. He's always looking to get me open, off ball, on ball. And I trust him so much, when they double me or if the big is up to touch, throwing the ball to Luke in the seams, or obviously him being a rim threat for lobs. So it's been one of the more successful things for our team this year, just, me and Luke on the floor together and being in actions together.
Jayson, with the playoffs about to start up, when you look back to where you were at this time last year, where do you feel like you've improved or grown or changed the most as a player?
I would say a year from now, just, understanding the game a little bit more. I feel like I say it all the time, I just try to get a little bit better year after year. And I feel like I've improved in so many areas. I think playmaking would be something that people would acknowledge the most. Being comfortable, making reads over and over and over again, whatever it may be. And they're just accepting different challenges night after night and still finding ways to rebound at a high level, continue to score the ball the way I do, and just try to impact winning and my teammates, while we continue to win games.
Jayson, you guys have a lot of great shooters on the floor at all times. You have a lot of gravity, like Derrick and Sam in the corners, but then you see them use it in other ways, like Sam crashing and getting offensive rebounds or them screening off the ball. What does it do for your offense to have guys who are like 40% three-point shooters also able to take that gravity and use it in other ways?
Just not being one-dimensional, right? Obviously, everybody has strong suits and, what they're great at. But, being on a championship team and contending team, just being able to impact the game in so many different ways. And, some guys may be able to impact the game in 12 different ways, some guys, 5 or 6, but just being able to do different things and bringing different things to the game. And it's important, right? P, as small as he is, it's oftentimes we see him crashing and getting offensive rebounds, or, Sam crashing through the nail and, the possessions that he does that and giving us extra, field goal attempts is big for our team, right? So just the makeup of our team and guys' willingness to get outside themselves and truly just finding a way each possession to do what they can to impact it in a positive way on both ends. Is why we just have such a special group.
Last question to Gary.
Jayson, what has this year been like for you as not you, but as a team and leader, as defending the championship? Everybody's taking shots at you, and every night somebody's trying to, is playing out of their heads. It seems like it's been a more challenging year in terms of just defending it, and every night the challenge of someone kind of playing over their heads. What's it been like to be the defending champ?
It's been a lot of fun, honestly, this year. Bringing everybody back besides O'Shea, we have such a joy and a connection with each other that, it was some tough moments or whatever it may be, but, with one game left in the season, I can say that everybody has felt valued, everybody has played a part in our success this season. Everybody understands the common goal that we share. And, we know who we are. We know who we are individually. We know what we bring to this team to make it what it is. And we have so much fun, doing what we do. And, you realize when you're on special teams and you're with special guys, you just try to cherish those moments. Season goes by fast, but it's been a fun one so far.